Welcome to another episode of the Javier and Mo Show. I'm here with the best MMA coach of all time, Javier Mendez. How are you today, coach?
I'm doing good. I like the way you put this right in my face.
You have to maintain the audio quality.
Yeah, I get it. We used to get a lot of complaints about video and audio quality of my last one.
So, coach, Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. How do you feel about we no longer have Dustin Poirier with us?
How I feel about that is I lost. I thought I did the betting on grapple, which is for fun.
Yeah.
And I lost that bout. I thought Dustin would do 3 out of 3, and he didn't. So, and and you could tell it was Max's all the way, and it was just a fun fight. Surprised they didn't get fight of the night, but then again, the Paulo Costa fight was unreal, and so many fights were unreal on that card. There were a lot of great fights.
Yes, it was a great card overall. Many great fights. But what did you have, Dustin? You had him winning?
Yeah. Because he won the last 2, and I figured he'll play his game, and the stand up would be good. But there is a point where you do slow down, and either the motivation's not there, or you just can't keep up with the younger guy, and the guy that is hungrier or just stronger. And in this case, it was Max.
Yes, true. What did you have Dustin winning? Did you have him make a decision?
No, decision. I wasn't thinking that anything more spectacular than a decision, but I thought we were going to get a great fight, and it delivered. It delivered.
I asked you this in our earlier episodes. We spoke about how Dustin was Islam's hardest fight. Do you think it was his hardest fight, or it was Arias?
I think it was Dustin. I think Alex was just the last minute and a half was really bad for Islam. But other than that, look at the fight, With Dustin, the first round was easy. The second round was not so easy. So, yeah, for me, Islam and Dustin was the toughest for Islam. But, everybody's different, right? One person can beat this guy real easily, but they fight somebody else and he finds it doesn't beat him as easy, or he gets beat by that person. So styles make fights, and I've seen it too many times. It's just because you beat this guy doesn't mean you can beat that guy, even though that other guy beat this guy. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, MMA math doesn't always.
No, doesn't always work.
Just want to give Dustin his flowers for a couple of minutes, because I feel like he deserves it.
He deserves flowers?
He deserves his flowers.
Or praise?
Both. I mean, I think he's got, in my opinion, the best resume in the lightweight division.
Without winning the title?
Without it being the title. I mean, he won the interim title.
Yeah, but that's not a title. We can all disagree or agree, but that's not a title to me. So, this guy came up from nothing, and I heard that he even dropped out of high school, and at 18 years of age. And he is basically a Louisiana boy that was really not really looked like he was going anywhere, and all of a sudden he did. So you got to give him a lot of praise for what he did, and what he's accomplished, and how he handled it, all like a true fighter and true gentleman, and hats off to him. He's a great competitor, and he left a legacy behind, that of a great fighter, and a great appears to be that he's also a very good family man.
Yes, I mean that's one of the reasons why I like him so much, is because maybe yes, he didn't win the title, but the fact that he didn't win it and he kept trying to win, even though he lost, and then he comes back and he lost and he comes back. That's what I truly like about him, is he never gave up.
No, he never gave up, and he came close quite a few times, and he had some great wars, and he won some great wars. He lost some great wars. I mean, he's done it all other than winning that gold. He had to win the gold.
But if we start looking at it in the future, in the next 10 years, and then we look back at Dustin Poirier, he's done a lot. to young men and to the sport. Like, he's a great inspiration to so many people.
I believe so. I believe so because he came from nothing.
Yeah,
And
he never gave up.
no, he never gave up, and he made something of himself at the world highest level, and no, he deserves all the praise. I take nothing but that in consideration when you're speaking about him. He deserves all the praise in the world.
So okay, let's try to find out more. Apart from Islam and Habib, who are your favorite lightweights?
Well, PJ Penn was definitely out of my favorite. Frankie Edgar, was another one. That's it. That's it. Right now, Topuria is there, and let's see how long he stays there. As far as wanting to be at that weight, who knows?
Yeah.
He definitely is the great one for sure.
But what do you mean staying at that weight? Where else is he gonna go? I don't see him as a welterweight.
Maybe you don't know. Anything's possible, right? You never know. Let's say Islam does win, against JDM, which is, I can't assume we're going to win that because we haven't done it, So let's just assume he does. And let's say the UFC, everybody knows what they're going to want to do.
I mean, yeah,
It's the money fight. It's the money fight. Everybody knows. I know. Everybody knows. So logically, that would be the next step. So let's see how long he stays as a lightweight is all I'm saying before he decides to jump up.
But I mean, this is where physics come in. I mean, that's why weight classes exist. How much can this person, like, he's so small for welterweight.
Yeah.
Physically, I mean, he's
But listen, there's been great fighters do great things. Like look at in boxing, Rocky Marciano. Look at his weight. His weight, if I'm not mistaken, was 186 to 190, somewhere in that general area, cruiserweight. And he's knocking out heavyweights. So here's a guy that's beating people that are 30, 40, 50 pounds heavier than him, and he was undefeated 49-0, if I'm not mistaken, or 48-0, so here's a great heavyweight that was knocking people out because he had great power. Well, Topuria's got the same thing. He's got that finesse boxing for MMA, and he knocks people out, so I'm just saying, that, there is the weight difference you're saying 100%, but there are also exceptions. And he might be one of those exceptional guys that can pull it off. And I'm not saying he's going to, because if we do fight him, I'm expecting that we're going to win, but you can't discount the possibilities of what he could potentially do.
I'm just saying this fight would be 10 times more interesting at lightweight than welterweight because I don't see a chance for him turning into welterweight. I mean, welterweight to lightweight, there is a huge difference. It's not like featherweight to lightweight. Featherweight to lightweight is 10 pounds. Lightweight to welterweight is 15 pounds.
But do you think at this particular stage, people are going to be worried about the weights? I think these two guys, can fight, and it's not going to matter, on titles or what's at stake. Just them two fighting each other is number one versus number two type thing. So I think a lot of people would be interested just in that alone, even if it is no titles. I know people are going to say, oh, it should be for a title, or it should be for the lightweight, or it should be for the welterweight. And a lot of people are not going to care. They just want to see a great fight, and let's put that fight together if it materializes, but we don't know. And I don't even know what Islam's thinking about either. Islam may not care. He may want to defend the welterweight title against somebody else. Maybe he wants Kamaru. Maybe he wants Sabkat. I don't know.
Yeah, we're just talking out of the interest from the UFC itself. I mean, Dana White voiced his interest in that part recently.
Yes. Yeah. But that interest could also change. We've seen that too many times too, because the landscape changes all the time. All the time it changes. And one day it's this, the next day it's that. So yeah, Dana's wanting that fight, and I've read it myself and I've heard it myself also, but doesn't mean it's going to stay that way when that time comes, because like some of the times people say things and they go to Dana, and then Dana goes, we're 1 year away. We're a long way for me to be thinking about that right now.
Especially about White House event.
Yeah, the White House event. He's like talking about Jon Jones coming on board, and fighting, what people think about that. And he's like, he's done with the Jon Jones train type of thing, and you can't blame him, but at the same time too, Jon Jones has been known and has done what he said he's going to do. So if he says he's on board to fight, he fights. He's never not fought. The thing is, if you look at his track record has been, he doesn't want to fight when you want him to fight. But if he wants to fight on this particular date, it's never been about opponents, I feel. I think it's always been about dates when he wants to go, and I think that's been the issue here.
But there is the opponent issue when they offered him Cheerson and he didn't take a fight.
Yeah, because he wanted more time for him. So it's always been about dates. It's always about dates when he's ready for that particular person. So come the White House thing, he'd be ready for whoever. So he will fight. I'm telling you, this guy will fight. He's not afraid of nobody. People are saying he's ducking this person, ducking that person, not for why you're thinking. He doesn't duck people because he's afraid of them. It's because maybe he doesn't want to fight them at that particular date or that particular time. He wants it on his time, his way.
Right.
That's it. So he's not afraid of anybody, and he shouldn't be. Why should he be?
But it looks like he's in Dana White's a bad book, right?
Yeah, he looks on his bad book, but then look at the other evil one, Connor. Look at his situation. He wants to put his hand in the book too and go and fight on that day. But what about him? What is his situation? It's like you take him on, no problem, but look at his problems getting fights matched. How long was he supposed to fight with Dustin? How many, or Michael? How long? How long did that go?
2 years.
Yeah, and they never materialized. So, it just depends, on the individual and circumstances. And let's face it, when he fights, you're gonna get the biggest pay-per-view buys because he always have. All his records show that he's the biggest star ever in pay-per-view and viewing, for sure.
I mean, they actually need that in the White House event because they're not gonna make money from ticket sales, so they need another source of revenue.
Well, isn't Dana White? Isn't Dana White going to the White House to examine the grounds to see what they could do or what they can do? So you never know. It's invitation only. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's invitation only. So that, but he's still gonna go look. So I don't know. Invitation only. How many people would come? I wonder.
I don't think 1,000 doesn't make sense.
Be kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
And
they have to skew the place.
Yeah. Even with 1,000, that's a big major.
Yeah, 1,000 is a part.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot. So no, let's see. I mean,
imagine you at the White House. Imagine you have one of your fighters there. Man, that'd be crazy. Would you like that?
No, only because, man, they're going to be everywhere. They're going to be looking at this, that. You got to wait in line. It's like when Trump came to the one show at Madison Square Garden, we had to wait. We were checked. They checked our bags. They checked everything. It's one of those. Yeah. It's not this, oh, it's great. No, it's like pain in the butt, man. You have to go through all these procedures. They got to take the dog around looking under the car, et cetera, to smell your bags, everything. You go through everything. So no, I don't care for it.
Yeah, I mean, logistically it's difficult, but imagine you're shot there and the White House is behind you. You're cornering one of your students. That's nice.
I know people like that stuff, and it's just like Madison Square Garden. Everybody's like, oh, Madison Square Garden. When I went to Madison Square Garden, I've been there 3-4 times now.
Yeah.
I just look at the old building, I don't look at the historical part of it. That's horrible for me not to look at it that way, but I don't. I was like, there's an old building. Where's the TVs? There's no TV here. We can't see what's going on with the fights, So, yeah, it's historical. Yeah, there's some great things there, but from coach's point of view, I want the luxuries that we get from the newer ones. The newer venues are much better because they got the bathrooms are right, set up perfect, and the TV's right there, and the concession stands are easier accessible. So there's a lot more advantages. Whereas with Madison Square Garden, the last one we had to go out in some of the tents. They made some tents out there for makeshift rooms. So it wasn't like if you were not one of the main event type people, you were shoved to the side. So it's kind of like, who cares, For me, no. For me, but I know a lot of people do. And I know a lot of fighters love the fact that they fought in Madison Square Garden. I know that, but I'm just saying, from my perspective, I could care less.
Okay, just to quickly psychoanalyze you. You're a practical person and you don't care about legacy. You care about practicality. You don't care, the White House thing is just legacy.
Yeah, okay, legacy thing, for going to as an event, yes, I don't care. But now legacy, as far as what I'm doing for myself as a coach, as me as a coach, legacy, I do care now. Only because my son wants to follow in my footsteps, so I want him to have something my dad was this, my dad was able to do that. I want to do what my dad did, or I want to surpass that, which hopefully he surpasses everything I've done is what I'm looking forward for him to do. So Jeremy, if you're listening to this, your dad's saying surpass your dad. He's a dinosaur.
So now I convinced you that maybe you should go to the White House.
Look, if we have a fighter, it'd be an honor to be there for sure, no doubt. But I don't know whether we do or don't. I only have two options.
Dagestan, we're at the White House.
I have Umar and I have Islam. That's it. And there's other fighters, but I'm not responsible for any of our other guys. They're either on the AK front or the other side. So on three guys that I'm really responsible for, it's Usman, Umar, and Islam. Yeah, that's because I chose that to be that way. I don't, I'm doing other things in my life that I want to do. And I can't be a full-time coach anymore like I used to be. So I want to be coach to those guys when they need me. And that's it.
You're flying in a couple of weeks to go to Dagestan.
Yes, we're going to Dagestan in beginning of August, and we do 1 month training there at the hills, the mountain, at their mountain retreat, that Olympic training. I think it's like an Olympic training center there. Yeah. So we're going to be with Usman, Umar, and Islam, and then the whole team. So we'll be, we're running the whole team. Then we come back here. We finish off for the October 4th or 5th fight at Coca-Cola Arena. With Usman, yet he's going to defend his title. I don't know yet, but there's a surprise coming. And I guess we don't know who yet, but I guess we'll find out soon.
Okay, so in the next couple of weeks, you go in Dagestan. You're going to have all of them: Usman, Umar, and Islam.
Yeah, I should have all of them.
But you focus mainly on Usman since his fight is the closest.
His is the closest, so he'll be the priority. But then Umar and Islam should be right behind us. So we don't know when their dates are, but they're coming close.
We're excited. This is the first time in that new center, the Bigwood.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited, but kind of like, I heard it's like 4 hours away from the town. Yeah, so I'm like, nah. It's 4-hour drive up there, then there must be nothing up there. So,
Nice to the box.
Just for a whole month. I'm not a mountain boy. I'm a city boy now. I'm a Dubai guy.
Yeah, you need that break.
Yeah, those guys are billy goats. They're all over. They run in the little edges of the cliffs, and them just like crazy what they do. I wouldn't do what they're doing. I'd fall off the damn mountain.
Yeah, but you wouldn't like just to meditate, to have a different perspective on life.
I don't meditate. What are you talking about meditating?
Different.
Hey, maybe this different. It'll be beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Just being with these guys is going to be a joy because they're a month. It'll be fun, to be honest with you. I have a great time with them. I always do. I never have a bad time with my guys.
But the month in that camp, you're not going to leave that camp for a month.
I don't think so. Anything's possible, but I don't think I'm going to be leaving. I think I'm going to be there. And I think there's enough activity going on all the time to make it fun,
Yeah. Like what?
I don't know. I'm not there yet.
Horse riding.
No, I'm not horse riding. Crazy, man. No. Let them do that. I'm not doing that.
I mean, there's going to be good food.
Good food for sure. Yeah, great food, actually. Great.
Like the Dagestan food.
Great clean food. Very, very clean food. And brotherhood, we're all like family, one big giant family. So I can guarantee you that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you there's going to be a lot of laughter, a lot of great training, a lot of great athletic ability there from so many new fighters I've probably never seen, that I'm going to go, wow, this guy's going to be something special, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun having Habib run the team and me watching and me coming to Habib, maybe we don't do this or maybe do that. What do you think? This and that. It goes, okay. Because, when I talk to Habib, it's never about do it this way, do it that way. No. It's about what do you think? Should we do it this way? We should do it that way. I give him options, and he'll decide, and he goes, okay, coach, we'll do that, or we won't do that. I never, ever tell him you need to do it this way. It's always options. Okay, let's look at it this perspective. Maybe we shouldn't do this, or maybe we should do that. So that would be my role again.
Can you give me an example?
I'll look at somebody and I'll say, hey, what do you think? These guys here are not fighting, so they need a lot of the training. They need a lot of technical training. So let them do more than these guys that are fighting, because if we put them all in the same group, these guys that are actually fighting need more of that rest time. So what do you think? Do you think that's a good idea or not a good idea? And he'll say, that's a good idea. So let's not treat everybody the same. Let's choose the guys that have got their fights coming up, take them off the training, a little bit, not completely, but just a little bit to give him more time to rest. So that's an example of what I'm talking about.
Okay. But technically, you will not go and break down things.
No, I don't need. They have so many coaches there. I don't need to technically break down anything. The game planning and making sure that I look at them and see if they're run down or they're not training hard enough. Those type of things I do employ. But as far as the technical aspect, no way. They got great coaching already from Saif Safula and Muhammad and then the boxing coach. They're all great coaches. So they don't need the technical for me. They just need little simple things.
Okay, that's what.
Like I told you, little simple things. You can take a rest, or do one more round, or maybe you don't fight that way. Maybe change your style a little bit. That type of thing. That's what I'm talking about. That's where coaching comes into play. It's not about technical. If you're doing about technical, then you're either a coach or you're a trainer. And if you're a trainer, then you work on the technical aspect. But if you're a coach, you do not only that, but you do more. So I'm not saying I don't train the technical. I'm just saying I'm not needed as much. That's all I'm saying.
No, I understand. There's great coaches in the camp, but if I was in the camp and I see you, and I would come to you because you're the most seasoned striker out of the other coaches.
Well, that is to some degree okay, but also you can understand there's loyalty too. If you've been training with this particular coach for all this period of time, and all of a sudden a new coach comes in and you never trained before, and all of a sudden you're going to go with that coach, and what's going to happen to the coach has been there for you? What's going to happen to him?
But maybe you should take ego out of it.
Yeah, you can say take ego out of it, but not many coaches can. One of the very few coaches that I've ever encountered that took their ego out of everything, the equation, was Habib's father, Abdulmanap. That's why I consider him the greatest coach of all time, because he was able to let his ego out the door, and whatever was beneficial for the fighters, he would allow it. That takes a great man to be able to do that, and that's why, for me, he's a great man, and therefore that's why I always say father's plan, because we need to remember whose boys these are, who raised these kids from the beginning, who taught them how to become businessmen, who taught them how to be a man. He did. And let's not forget that.
But if his father had this mentality, shouldn't the coaches have that mentality? Like, I'm not saying they don't, but generally, wouldn't they take the ego out because that was his father's philosophy?
Habib is that way.
He would take his ego.
He does. Habib's ego's out that way, but I can't. There may be a few other ones that have that, but I can't say they all do because I'm not there enough. But I know Habib is 100% that way too. He takes his ego out.
Yeah. He sees somebody who has a better car,
yeah. Habib sees it so that way. And if he doesn't, I'll point it out, then he'll see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Habib is very open-minded.
So is that something you guys are trying to instill in the other coaches?
I wouldn't say we're trying to instill in the other coaches. I'm just saying that's something what we do. Now they follow suit or they don't follow suit. I'll just use my son as an example. We've done these things. I had my son just observe us doing our thing, and then you decide on your own when it's your time. So he's done that, and he comes in, and I'm watching his speeches, and I'm going, where did he learn that? Where did he learn that? It's because he stayed and observed, and he followed suit. Because why? Because we were doing it before him, and he was observing it. So the coaches that grasp it and take that ideology and the mentality and the physical training, fantastic. The ones that don't, then hopefully whatever you adapted can benefit the fighters just as well, and it's as maybe better, or, who knows, but it better at least work.
So your son was here a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month ago.
A month ago, yeah.
Courting one of his fighters.
Yeah, Romero Cotton, yeah.
So how would you assess your son's performance?
His performance as a corner and a coach, I to be honest with you, I was so impressed with him. I'd have to give it an A+. I was like, wow. I was really shocked. I said to Hadi, who's my one fighter here, and I said, hey, you guys run the corner. I'll be in the back, behind the cage, and I listened to all the instructions. I was listening to him. Everything he was doing was right.
And
it's like ground game, it's too close, this, that, far away, hey, back off, or turn them, everything that should have been said was said. And anything that was anticipated, he was anticipating what could happen. Don't do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like going, God dang, You know, it really, really impressed me. Really impressed me. I was, wow. I mean, those are some of the things that are needed, because you're in the corner, you have to guide your fighter into the traps, or encourage him when he's doing great. Let him continue to do the great things, but make sure that you're fully aware of what could happen too. Like, do this, but be careful, the trip's coming, or be careful, that right hand's coming, blah, blah, blah. You know, you have to know all these things, you know, or anticipate them.
Good. Have you told him that? Have you guys have a conversation?
No, we talk all the time. I tell him what he's doing good and where he's not. And I've been working with him on his ego, dropping his ego. I've been working with him on, you know, he said, I'm going to be the greatest. I said, no, that's not for you. Let's let them decide. The fans will decide. The people will decide where your status is as a, you know, as a coach. You cannot say what you're going to be. No, you cannot. All you do is, number one thing, this is what I told him, you should always focus on number one, winning. Whatever it needs to be done to have your fighter win within the rules of the game, that's what you need. So win. Don't talk, win.
Okay, interesting point. I feel like most people, me included, would have trying to find the right word. Not a problem, but trying to find a balance between dropping your ego. And when you drop your ego, sometimes your aspirations become less. And when your ego is inflated, let's say, just to use that word, maybe it's not the right word, but when your ego is inflated, you are more willing to accept the challenge and willing to go and fight for it because you want that thing. And when you drop the ego, you no longer maybe crave that thing. It's like
it's a delicate balance, and when your ego's too inflated, then that means you're going into the war when, you know, you're going in with a knife fight to a gunfight, you know, and it's like, because your ego's thinking, well, we can beat that gun. It's like, well, deflate your ego, and maybe you realize, let's go find a gun, maybe a bigger gun, maybe a gun that shoots more bullets, or, you know, shoots longer range. You know what I mean? So the ego gets inflated. You think you can do things you can't. You know, when the ego gets deflated, then you become more of a realist, and realist is what you want to be. An ego is not. It's the worst thing to have as a coach, is an ego. In my opinion, it's the worst thing. But you have to balance.
Sorry, coach, but if it's too high, it's bad, and if it's too low, it's bad. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, then you already answered your question. If it's too high, it's bad. If it's too low, it's bad. So no, you just stay in the middle. Stay in realistic middle. Stay in what your fighter can actually do. Stay in what you can actually do as a coach. Don't act like you can do something you can't.
But like fighters, you cannot build and drop you.
No, you cannot. But you have to teach them to be realistic too. You know, it's like, okay, let me give you an example. Like, I tell somebody who's a middleweight, you know, or a lightweight, or let's say he's lightweight. He's a lightweight, and then go, okay, go wrestle Daniel Cormier. Just wrestle it. And because you could beat him.
That's unrealistic.
Well, yeah, there's your ego. Your ego thinks you can do this, you can. It's unrealistic, and it's not functional for you as a lightweight to go up against a heavyweight in a pure wrestling match, or even an MMA match for that matter. So you have to what? Drop your ego, because it's too much.
Sometimes
you keep trying to say it, but what do you say?
No,
I know, but what do you say?
On fine, say something. Let me talk.
Okay, talk.
So sometimes I feel ego like sometimes we paint ego as a bad thing, and I sometimes feel like it could be used properly in the right situation. Meaning, two lightweights could be fighting, but same size, similar skills. But if one has lower ego, he could lose that fight. Because he could be like, you know what I mean? Like, you could not have that fire, that like dominance, that craziness, because you have to be a bit crazy. You have to be.
No, you don't have to be crazy. You just have to be sometimes just, no, you just have the confidence. You know, if you're talking about,
you're talking like you don't need it, you don't have the confidence. If you're like 3 rounds and you're losing and you have 2 rounds left, you have to bring the fire.
No, the ego is wrong. Your ego,
I think ego is helping round number 4 that fight.
I don't think ego. I think confidence is extremely important.
But how do you have confidence if you're losing the first 3 rounds?
Because it doesn't matter, because you know you can win. You know you still have the ability to win. You know, still you have the gas tank. You know, but ego, where's the ego? I don't know. Ego to me, such a negative word.
That's what I say. If you're using it negatively,
I don't think it's beneficial for me. I don't ever want to use ego, because I don't see ego winning a fight. I see your confidence winning a fight. I see you persistent and never giving up winning a fight. But ego, no. For me, that's ego is.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But what I'm trying to say is your confidence would go out of the window if you're losing.
Why? Because you're losing. So what? Okay, let me give you an example of what you're saying, okay? Okay, this is just going to debunk what you just said, okay? Long time ago, 1998 or 97, Frank Shamrock was going to defend his title against Tito Ortiz, okay? And the plan was to try to submit Tito right away. If he was too strong, we were going to have to give it to him and get him tired in the later rounds. And so we had to submit him in the later rounds because no way we can get him early. Okay, fast forward to the fight. First thing Frank tried to do is submit him. Tito was too strong. So Tito smashed Frank for almost 3 rounds. Okay, completely, thoroughly demolished them. So should Frank had quit or stuck to the game plan of getting him tired and submit him in the later rounds? So what happened? What do you think happened? You know, he was losing. So he didn't lose any confidence. When he came back to the corner, it's like, hey, we got him. He's getting more tired. He's getting more tired. We were on plan, but he was losing. But till he wasn't. Because he stopped. What? He believed he can beat this guy, and he was on plan. So it had nothing to do with ego. It had something to do with sticking to the plan, believing in himself, and being consistent with what he thought. And that's exactly what happened. And that's why Frank was able to defeat Tito, because of the cardio and his belief in himself that he can get Tito tired. So without that, we wouldn't have won that fight. Right. Now what?
No, I'm not.
I just want to know what.
I'm just trying to find words that can remove the complete negative aspect of ego. Like, it is bad. It could be really bad. But what I'm trying to say,
when you're trying to say ego, it's confidence. You're called confidence, okay? Overconfidence kills you. Underconfidence kills you.
yes, and
Confidence in the middle, perfect, okay? Not overconfident, not underconfident. What you call ego, I call confident, you know? So there's maybe where you and I are different. You're thinking it's ego. I teach my guys to be confident, you know, and we have a game plan. We stick to the game plan. We stay confident. We stay persistent, stay consistent, you know, that's it.
okay. Again, I'm not trying to challenge you. I'm not trying to be
But you're not going to win, so I want to win.
I just want to challenge.
Okay, you're not right.
We're tapping.
Chat.
So Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes.
Okay, he's 40 plus, 41, something around that age. Okay. He's supposed to be retired. According to many soccer players, football, they retire at that age because the performance drops. However, we can all agree that this guy has great ego, that he would not stop and he would do whatever it takes to remain competitive. That's not even confidence. That's ego, that I'm like, I'm going to keep going. At 40, I'm going to keep going. Doesn't matter. I'm not stopping. I'm doing whatever it takes because I am not going to stop. That's not confidence. That's just another level of bit of like obsession.
Okay, so you're saying ego again, and not confidence. Okay, so could he continue to go if he wasn't good enough?
Of course he couldn't. But
he's confident in his ability. He knows what he can do. So therefore, his confidence is driving him, not his ego, because his ego could be thinking way above what he can do. It's his confidence in his ability to play and his ability to keep his body healthy is what's keeping him in the game. It isn't his ego. He may have an ego. Yes, he may love the fact that he looks great. Yes. Yeah. But that's not what's keeping him in the game. It's his confidence in his ability to play. And it's real. He's not over-exaggerating his confidence, because if he was over-exaggerating his confidence, they wouldn't be giving him this kind of money because he wouldn't deserve it.
He's a star.
Yes, he's a huge star. He's number one biggest star in the world. Come on, we know that.
But they're not paying for his skills right now because...
No, they're paying for his star status, you know, and what he can do and what he brings to the table. He brings eyeballs to the screen.
Yeah.
You know, so the guy... I mean, what can you say, you know? And it's not his ego. He may have a huge, humongous ego, but that is not what's got him there. It's his confidence and his ability to continue to stay in shape and be at the top level, you know? That's what's put him there.
Where sometimes it could be unhealthy, and like somebody like Tony Ferguson could have an unhealthy ego that you're like, man, you should retire, just leave the sport, and he wouldn't. What are you confident about? You're gonna get dominated in every fight right now.
Well, his confidence is not real.
Yeah.
Okay, but again,
I have you.
even if he didn't fight, I'm sure his ego's still pretty big. So either you have an ego or you don't. But I'm saying his ability is what you need to have the confidence in. It. I don't believe he is there. He was there at one time, but I mean, 7, 8 fights in a row. It diminishes, especially the way he got beat. So but his ego is still there, of course. Of course, because that's his ego, but his confidence level and his skill set diminished greatly.
Even I remember when he retired from the UFC, it was like, oh, this is a semi-retirement. I'm just gonna drop 1 glove instead of 2 because maybe I'll come back. Like, he doesn't want to leave. Like, he's like, I'm him, But like, even everybody's telling him the UFC fan.
He loves the game. He loves the game. He loves the competition, and I understand where he's coming from, because as a fighter, you miss that adrenaline, that you can't get anywhere else, So I know where he's coming from, and he's fun to watch regardless. And I was rooting for him all the last 5 fights. I was rooting for him, and God darn it, he didn't pull it off. And I was like, shoot, I wanted him to win. I was rooting for him. I still now, I'm not sure how I would feel about what he's doing, but I was rooting for him. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on before it becomes too egotistical.
Okay, Mr. Ego.
So, fights next week. You're going to be in Abu Dhabi watching the fights live. Robert Whittaker and
The Ritter. Yeah.
This guy, I don't know. Do you think he can put it off?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I think he can.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's got a great ground game. He's got really, really good Muay Thai, and he knows how to fight in the inside really well. He knows how to take away your strengths, and he's going to go and grapple with Robert in the inside, grab him, knee him the whole bit. He's not going to stay punch you. No way. He's going to knee, elbow him, you name it. He's going to do it all. And, his ground is really, really good. So, and his confidence. And remember, he's a 2-time champion and won. So this guy is no joke. So, I'm pulling for Robert, but unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. This guy's confident. He's already calling out Chimaev, saying, not Chimaev himself, but saying he's going to fight, he's going to win. And then he would like something to happen in the next couple of weeks with the Chicago card, that if somebody pulls out, he wants to be fighting for the title.
Well, he's doing the right things. That's what you want to create. You want to create noise, and him saying that right now, projecting it, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now, if you can accomplish it, man, that's a good thing, a really good thing.
Yeah, middleweight is becoming interesting again.
Yeah. Only takes one person sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, also, Paulo Costa won yesterday, and he looked good yesterday. So it shows that he's back to the old Paulo Costa. Now we have him back in the mix, and we have we have Hamza Chimaev and Dricus, and Israel is still there. Israel San is still there. Still.
Yeah, you can't count Izzy out. No way. Got too much experience. And his last 3 losses were not necessarily where he got wiped out.
Yeah.
Except Strickland fight. The Strickland fight, he thoroughly got outclassed. I don't know why. I don't know what happened there. But the other 2 fights were not, he wasn't getting outclassed. Only Strickland. True. So, let's see.
Good stuff. Guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And wherever you're listening, Spotify or Apple or YouTube, please subscribe.
Subscribe.
See you next time.
Next time, grapple. Grapple.com.